What's going on, guys? I know I did a video earlier today, but I had something on my mind I wanted to talk about. I think it was so cool. And this is a really good example. Something I caught here today I thought was so cool. And I think I'd mentioned this before, that it's important to find 2 or 3 good publishers that are your home, good publishers that are getting you a lot of placements. These are the publishers you're going to do a lot of work for. And that's not to say down the road as you're doing a lot of work for them, things change. People move from different libraries, go finding new libraries. That's why it's good to probably take a few extra tracks a year and sign 15, 20 tracks to new publishers and see what they're doing and kind of spread some music out there, because you just don't know what's behind door number 2. You really don't. Case in point, I've got 2 or 3 publishers I work a lot for right now. And each one of those publishers, I have certain genres I do for them. In other words, you do tension underscore for one publisher, you do rock for another publisher, you do dramedy for another publisher. I'm just throwing examples out there. And it's one of those things, it's a volume business, whereas, Dan Graham, that wrote that book about the 52 cues. It's a composer's guide to library music, I think is what it's called. Cannot remember. But it's the whole 52 cues thing. You know what I'm talking about. Dan Graham. You know Dan. He says do 52 cues a year at least. If you're doing cues, you'd probably need to do more than that. But if you're a singer-songwriter, 52 is a good volume. Some people could do more than that. If you're doing orchestral stuff or trailer stuff, it might not end up being, 52, or it could be. It's just a different volume per genre. It just depends on who you are. It also boils down to, as I've always said, don't try to conquer every genre. Do the most of what you're the best at, and then put some sprinkles on it, and kind of take a break from time to time, do for a different genre, and maybe to another publisher, And it's just about learning, finding the right publishers for you. We're all different, not going to be the same. Case in point here, why I got on was I had 2 placements here just cut up on detection, and it just says Channel 5, the UK. It's a station in England, same channel, and it's some live casino show. Don't know what that is, have no earthly idea. Anybody watching here from the UK can probably tell me what that is. But it were 2 different tracks. I was like, oh, that's great. I got 2 tracks, and must have been in 2 different parts of the show. They were back to back. I mean, in other words, they were minutes apart or something, I guess. But what was cool about this, and they had different times on them, like duration, I happened to realize that one track was from one publisher and another track was from a different publisher. In other words, 2 of my publishers are fighting for the same client, whether it's a production company or this network or who it is, that's pulling music from both of these publishers. Now, mind you, these clients go to certain publishers, there's a certain niche. They may be pulling the same genres of music, but there's something about them that they like to pull. They know these publishers are pulling good music, and that's their go-to. Same goes for publishers. My point I've said before is that most all these publishers that are working hard and getting a lot of placements, they're all fighting for the same clients. Now, mind you, they feed their own niche to these clients, and they're all different. If these clients are taking their music and they're doing business with them, chances are they've got music to fulfill their needs, because it's a service business. You got to give these guys what they need, or they have a certain niche, something they like about them. Each one is different. This is one of the biggest examples. I tell you why exclusive music is king right now. And it just boils down to, I just got to the point where I don't like royalty-free libraries. I mean, Epidemic Sound, if you've heard of them, are the worst. They're horrible. Never, ever put your music with Epidemic Sound. They're telling you you're not allowed to have a PRO, and not allowed to, you have to license the music, and then you're giving up everything. In other words, I think they supposedly give you $500 for the track, and then you're done. You never see money from it again. And meanwhile, they're getting billions of dollars from YouTube and all these other people selling you out and robbing you. So it's devaluing your music, and don't ever do that. Pond 5 ain't much better. I've got a few side tracks with Pond 5, but I still don't like it. I mean, I've gotten to the point that everything I do is going to be exclusive to a library. And I'm telling you, exclusive gets you the placements. That's not to say that some non-exclusive libraries can't get you placements. I know they can. But by volume, my career has grown with exclusive libraries. They have grown with them, I'm telling you. So this is the key of finding good publishers to work with. And at the end of the day, if you have a good publishers that get a lot of placements, chances are they're feeding on some big clients, whether it be major network, cable, Netflix, you name it. Could be for advertising, whatever your niche is. If you want to get into advertising music, that's commercial, corporate, pop type music, or whatever type music it is, it's out there. You can do it. There are people and there are libraries that are doing this. They specialize this and they get a lot of placements. Why not at least feed the kitty? Now think about this for a second. Think about this long and hard for a second. Dan Graham says do 52 tracks a year. If you're doing cues like me, I do a lot more than 52 tracks a year. In fact, I just told you a video or two ago that I'm finishing this year at 275 tracks, or a little bit over this year. Not bad. My goal next year is to do 400. Now, if that's achievable, I don't know. It may not. I'm putting a plan in place, but that don't mean it's always going to work. Sometimes you got to go ahead and pump the ball. Things change in the middle of the year. I have no idea what's up against me or what will change in the year, but I do know. But if you look at it like I'm fixing to tell you, you can manage this. Now, I'll tell you, out of doing 4 tracks a week, this is how you can do it. If you do 52 tracks a year, as Dan equates it, itching my nose, you got 52 weeks in a year. It's 1 track a year. It's 52 tracks a year. 1 track a week. Most people can do that. You do 1 track a week. Depends on, if you're a singer-songwriter, you're probably doing 1 song a week. You might be doing 2. Could be doing 4. Don't know. Depends on who you are and how good of an artist that you are. Your production quality and just how you can make it happen. Listen, Prince used to write a song every day. Now, I don't know how completed, but he always wrote lyrics, always wrote a song. They say there's a vault of music that guy wrote that's unbelievable, and I don't know when they'll ever release it, but it could happen. I mean, it's a ton of music. A lot of artists who have passed on, they've got music that some people may never release, and they might. It depends on the family's wishes and what they want to do. They may not want to do that. So, but let's take it a little bit further. Let's say you write tension for 1 publisher, and you did 1 track a week, 4 tracks a month. 52 tracks a year for that 1 publisher. Second publisher, you do 1 track a week, and let's say it's rock. It's for 1 publisher. Third publisher, these are publishers who'd be getting you a lot of work. You do 1 track a week, and it's dramedy. Well, what's 52 and 3? You got 156 tracks a year right there. We're doing 3 tracks a week. If I counted that right, 52 and 3, 150 and then 6, yeah. 156 tracks a year. Let's take it further. 4th track a week. You can do one of the 3 tracks, do 2 tracks a week for those, or do a 4th publisher. You see where I'm getting at? You can build in the year every 10 to 15 tracks you can send to these publishers. You're 4 tracks a week. And if it's a equate where you had time for your family or whatever, you got 3 days that you can take a break and get back. That's 4 tracks a week. If you were doing cues, you could do that in 2 days. 4 tracks a week. 52 and 4. You got 208 tracks a year. 5 years, 6 years, you got 1,000 tracks. If you put it in your 5 and 6 year plan, I mentioned this before. If you look at it like that and you get good at genres you love to do, you're going to get there. But you have to be analytic. Like, this is how I learned. And I learned from a lot of YouTube channels I follow. I want to mention some of the channels that I follow. And there are some that I follow, and I will tell you. One of them, off the rip, I'll talk about it, is Taxi TV. Guys, you don't have to be a member of Taxi. You don't have to like the pay per model, the pay to play. It's not really a pay to play, but you are, because they're paying people to screen this music. But even if you're not a member, and even if you are a member, you get 2 free tickets to the Road Rally every year. Now, this past year was a virtual one online, but I got a lot out of it. That's how I learned about Composer Cloud and some other things. I mean, Michael Laszlo regardless, there are a lot of people that follow that. They're not taxi members because he's good at educating people about this industry. He doesn't want to see artists being taken advantage of. He wants to make sure you're paid. Your licensing is there. He is basically a liaison. So he pays people. That's where that $5 a submission comes out. He pays these guys, and they're going through a lot of music. These guys are getting paid to do that. And if you don't think they're listening to music, they are. I guarantee you, because I've seen on there, some of the guys who screen music I know of, they write for publishers that I write for, and they're damn good composers. These guys are, and Michael Lasco is meticulous in how he writes these briefs. Why? His customers he's had for 26 years, and some of them are boutique libraries that feed into Universal Music Group and a lot of this stuff. These aren't, a lot. There's none. These aren't the ones you're going to see in a directory somewhere. In other words, they're like side labels for Universal, and then there are other publishers, and there's other ones. And my worry is that, like, okay, I'm going to submit to a publisher I've already signed with. Well, that's just a chance you take. I don't think they're going to give an IOU or credit for the next one on that. It just is what it is. It's part of the nature of the business. You can bet if it's one you sign, but you're going to hear from them. They go, submit to me directly next time. I'm like, well, I don't even know it was you when I submit to it, Publisher's not going to take it personally because they know it's blind. You don't know the publisher you're submitting to. And that's okay. But the thing is Michael is great. And we're just following. It's called Taxi TV. He's on there several times a week talking Mondays and Tuesdays. I think Monday is one where he does it 3 o'clock every afternoon. It was 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Here, we're 3 hours difference. Or it's 6 o'clock my time, 3 o'clock his time. We're 3 hours ahead. So I'm on the East Coast. So there's one channel. There's another channel I follow, and it's the only course I could recommend. I'm not saying there are other courses that are good, but this guy works. Excuse me. I know some have had a little riff with him. There's a Facebook group where the owner, the guy who started the Facebook group got into it with him about something, and in the defense of the group, that guy was not using his logo at all. He wasn't. It was a miscommunication or something, and somebody uncool said something. And when you're sharing videos and all that, you need to learn to pay attention that you're not using the logo. Someone just shared a video because of the insight this guy has, and it's Jesse. I talked to him. I've talked about him from Sync My Music. The only reason I mention it is because I took that course about 5 years ago. A lot of it I already knew about, but there were things in that course that really helped me, and it's got my career where it's at now. It's taken it next level. I'm going to tell you right now, that course is valuable. It might be pricey, but he has contracts. He's always adding things. He's on YouTube every day. Follow his YouTube channel, Sync My Music. Even if you're not taking the course, there's so much. Go back, all the insight that he has. He has a critique thing now where you can get music and he'll critique it with people on the side. But what was valuable to me was there were some things I learned about, like, hey, something simple as joining the Production Music Association, going to the conference every year. That has helped my career. I've gotten several contracts out of that conference. The people I've met, I see them every year. It's like going to summer camp and going, hey, man, good to see you again this year. It's like, we only get to get FaceTime once a year, and it comes around like that. So you know how that is. But it really is valuable. He has a section in there where he has guys that teaching you how to do these genres of music in depth. They teach you the tools they use, how to structure it, how to start it, step by step. And I'm talking really good. Guys, this is where I got, and I don't toot my horn, but this is where I got good at doing crime tension music. I'm telling you right now, and several other things. Just really good insight, and I'm telling you it's valuable. I'm not telling you got to rush out and go do it, but look into it. If you really want a course that'll help you, it's the only one I can recommend. There's another one I took years ago, and I can't recommend it anymore. I feel bad. This guy had diverse course out there, and I took it back in 2010. And he really gave me some great insight and helped me, but he never added to the course, and I went in the site, looked around, and just to see what he was up to, what was going on, and I didn't like what was going on. It wasn't good at all. And I can't recommend it. And, at the end of the day, he's responsible for people that are ruining his business or his course. He brought a guy in that's just started reeling these people in, making them think they couldn't get publishers without him, and he'd do all the work. All he was just doing is taking half everybody's writers. And I always said, unless you have a good reason to, or it's beneficial financially and you know it, never give up half your writers. Don't do it. Don't just give somebody half your writers because they think, well, they make you false promises or they do this and that. if you're in the business long enough, you're going to know, if you don't feel comfortable with doing it, don't sign the deal. There's a part of it. You got to learn this business. You got to understand the details of these contracts. You got to understand what perpetuity means. You got to understand non-exclusive, non-exclusive. A lot of this stuff gets deep when you start getting into, neighboring rights and all that jazz. When they start getting, that's all that sub-hub stuff where all that split comes about and where all this stuff's broadcasted, who makes what money. Your concentration is knowing what you're getting paid, what the split is, what the right deal is, whether it's in perpetuity, exclusive, non-exclusive, blah, 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 what your reversion clause is. I know I'm throwing these terms out quick, but there's just some key points you got to look at a contract. Most of it's standard, but you got to understand it. You got to understand how to approach these guys. And it really helped me taking that course where as the time went on, I knew that your music was most important. That's your voice. Your music is going to speak for itself. You just have to write the proper email and how to approach them. And I started to learn that using the right tools, getting good at it, get good at genres of music and really digging it in deep. Follow as many people you can doing it on YouTube. And just watch, and you're going to learn, Don't go crazy, but you're going to learn. You're going to find that their tools are important, but what's most important is what you're going to be able to do with those tools. Just because you have them don't mean you're going to be good. You got to know how to use them. You got to know how to get to know your digital audio workstation intuitively. Really dig in and get good at that. I'm telling you, it really does help. You may not use everything, but you understand where to go if you need to find it. You can go on YouTube and click it in, and somebody's talking about it. There's a lot of good resources and learn how to do Studio One and Logic Pro. There's so many sites out there. Reason, Pro Tools, Ableton, FL, whatever your Cubase, whatever you want to do. There are guys out there that are for free telling you on YouTube University. But I will tell you, be careful the information you get about the music licensing business on YouTube. Because there are not many, but there's some bad information out there. I'll tell you right now, I'll be honest. I can't put my finger on as to where, but I've seen it's bad. You got to be careful. Don't buy into all this unison chord pack. It's a unison chord pack. It'll do everything for you. No. If you really want to get better, learn your music theory, learn your key structure, learn music and do it. Don't do all this unison chord pack and using loops. I've talked about that before on Blue in the Vase. You're getting a lot of trouble. Even that unison chord pack will get you in trouble because with the lack of vibrato and the things you're doing, it's the same progression. Don't think that just because one used piano, one used guitar, don't think that top line melody isn't going to get you in trouble, because it will. It'll come up in recognition in like TuneSat, or it'll come up in Shazam, and you'll get popped on that deal. Don't do that. If it's a MIDI chord pack, change it up, make your own chord progression, but just understand, your major and minor chords and your modes, and understand what you're doing on that deal. That's just a quick side note, but Jesse's a good one to follow. And, moving forward, John Fulford, he is really, I like John. I love John a lot. I've sat with him, had lunch with him, sat with him, talked to him, seen him at the conferences there. Really good guy. He's successful in this business. Go look at his old videos. Right now, John's talking about NFTs, and that's okay, because I don't understand all about NFTs, but NFTs are happening. It's a really cool structure. I think they call it non-fungible tokens or something. It has a lot to do with the blockchain that's coming out. The blockchain is going to really revolutionize a lot of things, and even in the music industry, about how we get paid in the future going forward. A lot of things in real time, and it's going to be real cool. It's going to be able to keep track of a lot. With a lot of the recognition stuff that's going out, and detection services, the fingerprinting with audio, is so many cool things. I think it's going to start getting more affordable in time as it goes on. And can be overwhelming. There's so much change in this business. And I don't know a lot about NFTs, and I got to learn in the future, because somebody's going to say, hey, you want to do NFTs for this deal? I'm like, oh, God, I don't understand what I'm getting into. What is this? What am I getting into now? And it has something to do with investing in albums and investing in artists, and the artist and the publisher, everyone makes money. But as it sells further, there's dividends paid out to who invests in it. And I don't know everything, and I may be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but go learn about that. John's talking about it, and several other people are talking about it. It's been big conversation. It's been conversation at the conferences, and John Fulford, Fulford. John is great. Follow him. You know, he really is. Another guy I follow, and I mentioned him before, is Dave Croft, and I misspell his dang name every time I talk about it because I didn't look it up while I was on, but it's Kropf. Good old Dave. Love Dave. He's an amazing talent, hell of a percussionist. I love following him on Patreon for $1 a month. You can follow him and watch him compose. He does it live. You can ask him a question. He'll tell you exactly. What do you want to know? What am I using? Why? He's the nicest guy in the world. He's just so giving, and he just is a hell of a talent, you know. And follow him. We'll get on his YouTube his YouTube channel. Follow his videos. YouTube channel. It's Dave Croft, and he does some great. He has some great content on stuff about what has worked for him in the industry, and he'll tell you just like I will. I don't consider it to be all end all, but if it works for me, I'll pass it on. I don't mind doing it. But Dave is great. He really is. And follow him indeed. I gotta look at my subscriptions here to kind of figure out who I'm following. But I said a minute ago, I don't like the whole royalty-free music. It just devalues music so bad because you gotta think about something. Pond 5 Man's for your PRO, but the client that buys that music is not required by contract. You let them get away with not paying royalties or not reporting it to a cue sheet because it's royalty free. Some will, though, don't get me wrong. I know some guys, one of the channels I find is Evan. His name is Evan, Stock Music Musician. He's actually an attorney full time, and he does it on the side. If you want to learn about Reason, he's always doing videos about Reason, but Evan does stock music if you're into getting to that. And there's another one with Daniel too. But I think it devalues music because let's say Mercedes were to go in and license a track for $50 on Pond 5, and they used it in that commercial, which Mercedes and their ad agency, that budget would have been $15,000-$20,000 for that ad, plus the royalties from the media buyout. I don't think they do that much anymore. I think they give a projection to PRO and they monitor how, where it's done. I think it's much easier than it used to be now, but it's a case where they could use that song, that commercial, and you only got paid your percentage of that $50 and not another dime. And it's devaluing that music. You take that risk. And legally, they get away with it. A contract, you let them do it. And it's sad. I hate to say that, but there are guys making a good living a month, or a decent one. I don't know how good, doing stock music, and that's fine. But if you do it, I'd say put music on there that you're going to do there that you can't put it anywhere else, because publishers, I know non-exclusive publishers that won't take it if it's in that stock library. They'll tell you, remove it if you're going to give it to me. I've had one ask me if it's there, I can't use it. I said no. And I've said yet again, stay exclusive. That exclusive gets the placements. Now, I'm telling you, there are some non-exclusive get you some, but I've seen that 98.9% of my placements have all been exclusive. Exclusive publishers. Exclusive the liability is less. It's king. People love going to one place and hearing that music in that one place. As I told you, they go to these publishers for their own niche, their music that they have. They don't want to hear it somewhere else. They're not going to use it. It's a liability. But it's stock music musician. His name is Evan. Nicest guy. You can follow him. Another guy is Daniel, and but Music for Income is another site to follow. This guy owns a really big library, and he's had some really good people in there teaching courses about types of music. And one of them was a guy named Matt Vanderboegh, Boegh. Matt is an incredible talent. He's the guy that pioneered hip-hop dramedy, urban dramedy. He started using it and really kicked it off. He said it sounded cool. People started using this. If you don't think you can make six figures doing licensing music and film and TV, you can do it. This guy does it. I think his people were kind of talking about a road rally because he was speaking at a panel. But Music for Income is a site where the guy owns a big library now, and he It's called musicforincome.com. Does a lot of YouTube videos, and he's on YouTube. A really nice guy, and he talks about things in the industry that will help you. He actually is interviewed Matt on one of these videos, and you will see Matt is a hell of a talent. But Music for Income, look up that. That's a good one to follow here. If you look up Daniel Stock Music, it'll come up. He's over in Spain, got a big beard, nicest guy. He actually makes his full-time living with stock music. I don't know anything else he does, but that's all he talks about. It's called Stock Music Licensing. That's what the YouTube channel is called, Stock Music Licensing. Daniel, nicest guy. Follow him. And, if you're really interested in learning stock music, I'm not real big on it. It hasn't benefited me. And I do have some I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I don't have music in stock sites, because I do. I have some side tracks. We're not going to call them junkyard tracks. It's just tracks that I put there that I have in a couple of non-exclusive libraries that I've allowed to put it there, and some that I don't. But it really is just boils down to where you want to put your music. It just depends on you, But I will tell you that if you're going to do something in music, it's exclusive libraries, it's a volume business, and stock music licensing, unless you've got a ton of music out there, is not going to really get you far. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's the longest road you can take. Honest to God, it is. So, another guy to follow who is a great songwriter, is an incredible talent. If you want somebody who can give you creative ideas who's unbelievable, follow Andrew HUANG. And I say HUANG, I guess but everybody knows who he is. He's got 2 million followers. Andrew HUANG, HUANG. Incredible. Look him up. You will not regret that. Andrew's an amazing talent. Okay, another guy, I had to look for a second, but I found him. It's called Make Music Income. Nice guy. He really is a nice guy. He has a pretty good story to tell, and apparently I think he's retired. I don't know, but it's called Make Music Income. That's another one to follow. But anyway, I just want to follow some of those. I'm going to get off here. I appreciate you guys for watching so much here. I just wanted to talk about that. It's important to find the publishers that work best for you, because you're going to find out, eventually that, as weird things happen, same client from 2 different publishers used, and they were both tension tracks, if you could believe that. 2 tension tracks, one from 2 different publishers, one from the other, into the same TV show, probably in the same day or same episode. I don't know. Could have been reruns streamed from different episodes. Don't know. Don't even know anything about the show. It's based out of England. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great one, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.